you also moved to North America, USA, right, and then came to Canada, and now eventually you are a citizen here. Why Canada?
My question is why not? You said it's the Canadian dream. So,
Yeah.
you know what? We are following our dream for one reason and one reason only.
Mm-hmm.
It's my wife who got us here. And she deserves all the credit. But as you said, the Canadian dream is now a reality.
Yeah.
We did make it here.
I'd also like to ask in terms of finding a job as well. Like, what creates a difference?
People call it soft skills. So my wife has changed the name. She calls them human skills. The human skills
Very important.
is very, very important.
Hello and welcome to the Canadian Dream JUS Podcast. As promised, I'm here with another guest and मैं जब ये बोलती हूँ कि मैं कोई ऐसे गेस्ट लेके आऊँगी जो आपकी लाइफ में एक्चुअली वैल्यू ऐड करेंगे तो मैं उस पर खड़े उतरने की पूरी कोशिश करती हूँ और आज भी मैंने वो कोशिश जारी रखी एंड टुडे वी हैव विद अस मिस्टर शहजाद गिदवानी हु इज मार्केटिंग एंड बिजनेस कंसल्टेंट एंड ऑल्सो एन इंस्ट्रक्टर फॉर ग्लोबल बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट एट कॉनिस्टोगा एंड ट्रायस मोहॉक. Very warm welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
And as I say, this is the Canadian Dream podcast, and I want my viewers who are watching through Just TV to actually listen to a podcast, watch them, and be able to achieve their Canadian dream one day. And that is why I invited you today, because I know you have a lot of value to add and a lot of insights to share. And since you're an instructor, you meet international students on everyday basis.
Literally every day.
And you have like a lot of experience in marketing and business, and this like makes you a whole package to have you here. And I cannot feel any more honored than this right now.
It's my honor to be here with you.
So before starting and jumping right into it, I would like to mention that he was not in Canada like always. He came here in 2020, which was like just 4 years ago. And right after coming here, he has seen a lot of success in his life, and this is another reason why we have invited him here. And I would like to start, like you mentioned that you were in Kuwait for a very long period of your time, right?
Correct.
And after that, you also moved to North America, USA, right? And then came to Canada. And now eventually you are a citizen here. So out of all the countries, like
Why Canada?
Yeah, America. Why Canada?
My question is why not? You said it's the Canadian dream. So,
Yeah.
you know what? We are following our dream.
Yeah.
Let me start by actually clarifying that we are in Canada
Yeah.
for one reason and one reason only. It's my wife who got us here. And she deserves all the credit.
Yeah.
We were living an excellent life back in the Middle East. No complaints. Our son wanted to come here and study. He could have come on his own, of course.
Yeah.
But Anju, my wife, she decided it's time for all of us to move.
Yeah. It's time for change.
Time for change. I was not 100% behind the idea.
Yeah.
But as you said, the Canadian dream is now a reality.
Yeah.
We did make it here. And as you said, we got here in 2020. And no pun intended, we got here on April 1, 2020. When we got here, the borders were closed.
Yeah.
Right? So that was an interesting journey as well. Coming here in COVID, the roads were empty. So literally took us 1 hour from the Niagara Peace Bridge to downtown Toronto.
Just 1 hour. Yeah.
Because there was nobody on the road. It was only us in the
Yeah,
car.
just you
So
guys.
it was an interesting journey. So yes, I fully agree with you. All the international students who are here, they are following their need or the desire to reach the Canadian dream. And I'm pretty sure that all of them will.
Yeah, but another thing about this Canadian dream is that it looks quite achievable from the far distance. But when you come here, there are a lot of hurdles and barriers that you have to go through. And especially someone coming from, like, I've realized this over time that people in India, they tell you everything, like how Canadian life is going to be, and this is how it's going to turn out for you, put this in your bag and take this and all of that. But still, there comes a day when you land here and you realize, oh, this is not what I imagined. And my first question to you, like, what I'm coming at is, like, you meet international students all the time, right? So even after them understanding that this is how this country is going to be, what is it that they lack?
That's not about what they lack, right?
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
There is no easy country.
Yeah.
The minute you leave your homeland, be it India, be it Nigeria, be it the Middle East, be it the United States, Canada's a different world.
Yeah.
as is every other country. Like,
Hmm.
I've worked in multiple countries.
Hmm.
There are no easy countries.
Hmm.
There is going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Right? Uh, this is the first question I ask my students: is okay, you made it to Canada.
Hmm.
What is that you expect Canada to do for you?
Hmm.
And they say, well, we want Canada to do this for us. We want the best job. We want to drive the nicest cars. We want to buy a house. They have
Hmm.
all these aspirations and
Hmm.
dreams. And I ask them, well, what are you going to do for Canada?
Hmm.
What are you going to bring into the into
Hmm.
the mix, so to
Yeah.
say, right? And that's where they're like lost. I
Hmm.
said, you came to Canada because an agent asked you to come here.
Hmm.
They showed you beautiful pictures.
Yeah.
Uh, it's all not Niagara Falls. It's not
Yeah.
all about skiing,
Yeah.
right? It's not about driving the big, beautiful cars.
Yeah.
All of you will get there,
Hmm.
but there's a journey,
Yeah.
and you have chosen the journey.
Hmm.
How are you going to get to it?
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's when they start to realize that there is no easy way.
Hmm.
You have to build your dreams,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, you're going to have a rude awakening.
Yeah.
And I actually asked them this question: is how many of you? They're all been here at least 6 months because I do semester two in most classes,
Hmm.
both colleges actually. So
Hmm.
they've been here 4 to 6 months, and I asked
Hmm.
them, so 6 months down the road,
Hmm.
what do you think?
Yeah.
And it's always a 50-50 split as
Hmm.
to, I think I need to go back.
Hmm.
And the other 50 says, no, this is where we want to be.
Yeah.
So you see different characters and different reasons. Some have
Hmm.
gotten successful very quickly. They found this job.
Hmm.
And then I asked them, is this the job that you want to do for the rest of your life? No.
Hmm.
I said, okay, so don't stop. Keep
Hmm.
going.
Yeah.
You need to become part of the Canadian fabric. I'm not
Yeah.
saying give up your culture. I'm saying understand their culture and
Hmm.
help them understand yours.
Yeah.
Because you need to be part of this
Hmm.
country.
Yeah.
You left India for a reason,
Yeah.
right? Now
Hmm.
follow that reason.
Hmm.
Right?
Very, very well said. Because I remember talking to, one of the doctors before coming here. I'm very open about taking therapies and everything. And I took once, and before coming to Canada, I was also very, confused about this fact that you've mentioned that when you come here, you have like dreams to achieve. But when you're there, you were like, personally for me, when I was there, I was like, I have to leave everything behind, and I'm going to leave my family and my dreams and people that I've connected and the relations that I've had, all of that, and then go to another country and do the same all over again. And everything that I had for 25 years is just going to go like to ruins, and I don't know what to do anymore. And he said the exact same thing, that you're here for a reason. You left everything behind, so just keep your mind here. And it's very important to be a part of it, to be indulged in it, and make other people feel that you're not an alien to this place, and you're actually understanding the culture, because this is what they want at the end of the day.
This is a land of immigrants, right?
Yeah, this is a land of
It's a melting
immigrants.
point.
Yeah.
You made a very good point.
Hmm.
You said that you had dreams in India.
Yeah.
Have you brought those dreams here with you, or have you enhanced those dreams? This is the same thing I ask my students.
Yeah.
Don't give up your dreams, because
Hmm.
dreams can follow you,
Yeah.
and they can get better
Yeah.
because you're in a different environment.
Hmm.
You have more opportunity here. It's a
Hmm.
smaller population, so guess what? You
Yeah.
have a better way to expose yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
Professionally, you can really grow here,
Hmm.
but you have to become, and I can't stress this more, is
Hmm.
that you have to become part of the fabric of this society.
Hmm.
You have to learn how the
Hmm.
country works.
Yeah.
It
Hmm.
does not work the same way as back home, regardless where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Canada is not the United States either,
Yeah.
right? I know we are
Hmm.
1 hour away. Right now, we're 1 hour
Hmm.
away from the US, right? We can
Yeah.
actually drive and be
And
there
be
in 1 hour,
there.
20 minutes,
Yeah.
and our world is going to change all over again,
Yeah.
right? Your
Hmm.
driver's license is suddenly no longer valid if you're just
Hmm.
visiting, if
Hmm.
you're going to live in Canada.
Hmm.
Rules start changing,
Yeah.
taxation changes, everything changes.
Hmm.
Though they're so close, they're two
Hmm.
different countries,
Hmm.
as the country you're coming from is very different from wherever you go, be
Yeah.
it Canada or a third country or a fourth country.
Right. That's a very rightly said. And before like going on a short break, I would like to ask you one quick answer. Like, what is it one difference that you noticed is there in Kuwait and here in Canada in terms of a job market?
So you cannot compare the job markets, right? This is a
Hmm.
much larger economy.
Hmm.
Uh, the Middle East is part, specifically Kuwait is a much smaller economy. Yes, it's a
Yeah.
very rich country,
Hmm.
but the population, the whole population, is not even Toronto,
Yeah. Oh.
right? So you got to understand that it's going to be a different world over there
Yeah.
as well. Yes,
Hmm.
there's going to be competition, but there's
Hmm.
so many people
Hmm.
over there who have been there for decades and
Hmm.
have made their networks, which
Hmm.
you have to do the same here. And on
Yeah.
that note, networking is extremely important no matter where in the world you are.
Yeah, and we will talk more about it and the importance of networking, which I talk to almost every guest that I invite here, and we'll talk about it. We were talking about the importance of networking before leaving.
Correct.
So, enlighten us on that, how
Yeah.
it is helpful.
So I know everybody's probably heard this a million times. Your network is your network, right?
Yeah.
So is it true? 100%.
Hmm.
We got here in COVID.
Hmm.
We knew two people, right? One was a student, and the other
Hmm.
one was also a relatively a newcomer.
Hmm.
I needed to thank people here. The first person I spoke to, again, because of a person we knew back in Kuwait, they introduced me to a gentleman by the name of Sanjay Puri.
Hmm.
Well, Sanjay Puri, if you're watching this, thank you very much. He introduced me to the president of CIMO, which is the Chartered Institute of Marketing Management of Ontario,
Hmm.
to start up a volunteer position.
Hmm.
And I continue to volunteer for them.
Hmm.
That was my first, that's where I stepped into the networking world of Canada. I
Right.
now knew two people.
Hmm.
So who's next? Right?
Hmm.
I kept thinking and I said, no, okay, I know
Hmm.
Dr. Yusuf, who is the president of CIMO.
Hmm.
COVID again, we're only
Hmm.
meeting online.
Hmm.
Say, okay, let me look at my LinkedIn profile. Let's start
Hmm.
connecting on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
I go, I need to update my LinkedIn profile. I need to do something different.
Hmm.
And I find on LinkedIn a gentleman by the name of Hamad Siddiqui, who's a LinkedIn expert.
Right.
So I connect with him. Now, number three in my network. He
Yeah.
helps me build my LinkedIn profile.
Hmm.
And now suddenly I'm getting connection requests. We are
Hmm.
talking, we're making connections.
Hmm.
And through CMO, I get my first opportunity
Hmm.
to be part of not a podcast, but I was a moderator for a business show.
Hmm.
Again, I started building my network
Yeah.
over there
Hmm.
with the help of Dr. Yusuf. And now I have a tag of CMO that I've actually done something in Canada. The
Hmm.
network builds on that. People
Yeah.
start talking to you about it.
Hmm.
You start answering questions.
Hmm.
At this point, me and my wife decided to open a consultancy firm. My wife does work. She's the managing editor for the research press for Humber College.
Hmm.
So we launched our consultancy firm over there.
Hmm.
It's called Co-Create Operations.
Hmm.
And from there, we got our first deal. We started working, thanks to
Hmm.
LinkedIn and all the connections that we built.
Hmm.
We got our first gig with a commercial real estate company
Yeah.
to start to help them expand out of the real estate field.
Right.
Right?
Hmm.
Long story short, we helped them bring in Organic India again through connectivity from a
Hmm.
previous life where I knew the CEO.
Hmm.
So it's connectivity, it's networking, people
Hmm.
building people.
Yeah, it's
Right?
very important.
And with this, I got my first opportunity to teach at Conestoga
Hmm.
College.
Yeah.
Again, thanks to LinkedIn and all the recommendations I received as to
Hmm.
how I was helping and mentoring people.
Yeah.
And that's where BMG came into the picture as well, right?
Hmm.
So thank you, Dinesh, for
Hmm.
helping me build my network. Thanks to
Hmm.
BMG. Well, that's why indirectly that's how we met at
Yeah.
PCC because of BMG. So you
Yeah.
see how the networking thing actually
Comes.
comes into play. I'm
Yeah.
here today.
Hmm.
If I go back in time,
Hmm.
is because of Simo,
Yeah.
because of the first person who gave me that opportunity,
Definitely.
right? And one thing led to another,
Yeah.
right?
100%. Yeah.
So I actually even did one point a post. I did a post to thank all of them on LinkedIn, and
Hmm.
that generated so many likes. It
Hmm.
was amazing, right?
Yeah.
And that also helps you build your network. So to
Yeah.
all the students out there,
Hmm.
your first job is going to be because of your network, not because of your grades,
Hmm.
not because of your degree.
Hmm.
Because guess what? In our class itself, there are
Yeah.
50. Just in one class, we're
Yeah.
about 45 to 50
Hmm.
who are going for the same degree. So
Yeah.
what's going to differentiate you? It is your networking skills
Yeah.
and your intercultural communication skills, which will
Hmm.
help you build that network.
Yeah.
That is why you need to understand and take in the fabric of Canada.
Definitely. And I would like to go back to this point where you talked about volunteering. So, volunteering has somewhat, I think, a negativity connected to it. People think that we should only work if we are being paid. And especially, you came here in the age of 2020 and you were not a student, right? And still, you considered that volunteering, like mostly volunteering, is something that people think is for students, is for people who's the younger generation, we can because they want to get into the field. But I think volunteering is for everybody. It's for everybody. Age is not a bar.
Nothing
The
is a bar,
Yeah,
right?
nothing is a
Mahima,
bar
I came
there.
here when I was 50 years old. So I'm far
Yeah,
from being a student.
yeah.
And the only opportunities I was looking for when I got here was volunteering opportunities. Because when you give back, you learn so much,
Yeah,
and people are willing to give you.
yeah.
And that's how you build yourself. So if you get a volunteering opportunity, jump on it.
Yeah,
Don't think twice.
yeah.
Right? You
That's
want a volunteering opportunity? BMG is always looking for volunteers. Right? To everyone out there, whether you're a student or a newcomer,
you
it's
should volunteer.
yours. Right?
Yeah,
This is how
definitely.
you're going to build your network.
Yeah.
And don't stop volunteering because I got the job. Right? I'm
Never
teaching.
stop.
I have
Yeah.
a consultancy. I'm still volunteering for SEMO. I continue volunteering for immigrant networks. I continue volunteering for BMG. It doesn't stop.
Yeah,
Right? You have to
definitely.
give back.
Yeah.
You start by giving back, and that's what Canada's all about. It's
100%.
given you the country. You're here. Now
Yeah.
give back. Start,
Yeah.
and you don't know how much you'll get back.
Definitely. 100%. That's very true. Like, it actually changed my narrative around volunteering when I came to Canada, because in India, it's like you volunteer for religious purposes. Like, you go to the Gurdwara and you help
Been there,
them.
done that. Been a sevak. So yeah,
Yeah, you've also done
you've
that.
done
Yeah.
that. That gives
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
mental peace,
Yeah.
and it gives you, it's more spirituality.
Yeah.
Here you're actually giving back to people, and you
Hmm.
see the difference that you're making
Yeah.
because you're sharing your
Hmm.
experiences
Hmm.
for nothing in return.
Yeah, yeah, actually, and I think that that plays with somewhat like with human psychology in a way that people know that you're not getting anything out of it, so they try to provide you more and more value
Yes.
and more knowledge that they can give you and you can take back home. And I think this is the main part of volunteering that makes it like even more recommendable, in terms like people know that you're not going to get anything out of it at the end of the day other than the experience.
The experience and just the mental satisfaction
Yeah,
that you help somebody,
yeah,
and that person may write a beautiful LinkedIn post about you and say,
yeah,
and you know what, that's worth $1 million.
yeah. It
Right?
actually
That
gives.
LinkedIn post,
Yeah.
which will probably be viewed by say
Hmm.
500 people, for the sake of argument it should be viewed by many more.
Hmm.
But imagine
Hmm.
those 500 people now know
Hmm.
that you're a person that
Hmm.
can be counted on. The next
Yeah.
time they have a job available, or the company asks them, hey,
Hmm.
we're looking for someone who's
Hmm.
really, really good at what they do and can
Hmm.
support our team,
Hmm.
you're going to be on top of mind because you have supported
Hmm.
strangers. So
Hmm.
imagine what you'll do for an organization which supports you back.
Yeah.
Right? So it's always give and take.
Yeah.
It's a two-way
That's
street. It's not a one-way street.
Hmm. That's really nice thing that you mentioned, that imagine you have an organization supporting you, not just one person, but it's an entire company supporting you
Correct.
behind it. That adds a lot of value to your, I think, entire being. Like you are being supported by someone and something so strong, and even if you're
Exactly.
there as a part time. And which brings me to my next question. Like we were talking about your journey here in Canada, right? You came here in 2020, and you mentioned that things fell into right place because of your wife, and she had a
Absolutely.
vision,
Yeah.
right? And she planned
She's a
it
star.
out.
Right?
Definitely,
Yeah.
like I had mentioned that miracles happen when women lead, and I think
She's my guiding star, not only for me
yeah,
but for the family. Right? So
yeah, yeah, it happened for you. So like other than that, yeah, definitely it was like something that fell into place for you one after the other. But were there any difficulties that you faced coming here as a 50-year-old with a
good.
family?
There are a lot of difficulties, and this is what people need to be prepared for. Right?
Hmm.
You're going to have a hard time finding a place to stay.
Yeah,
You don't have a credit score. You have
yeah,
no credit history.
yeah,
They don't know you. How do
yeah,
they trust you? Right?
yeah.
It will be a challenge.
Hmm.
It was a challenge, right? So just to tell you how difficult it was,
Hmm.
because we came, at a later age, we had more access to resources.
Hmm.
The first place we, not the Airbnb because that was prepaid, so there's no problem over there. But the first place we rented, the landlord asked for 1 year's rent in advance.
Right.
Right? He wanted 1 year's rent in advance, and we came down to 6 months in advance and 6 months checks. But he flipped it around. He said, "I'm going to cash the 6 months checks first, and the advances for the last 6 months." Right?
Oh,
That is a challenge.
yeah. It
Right?
was a
It
challenge.
was a challenge.
Yeah.
We overcame it, yes, but be prepared for things like that.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you're a student, for students it's slightly easier because you're coming, you're going to be staying in a group. You're not
Yeah.
really you're not really concerned
Concerned about the
uh,
housing
about the
situation
housing.
as
You are
much.
concerned because you have to find the place,
Yeah.
but you're looking as a group of 6 or 7 people. Here we need a
Hmm.
family home. So for the
Yeah.
newcomers, it will be a challenge, and
Yeah.
it's a tough one. Be
Right.
careful with your driver's licenses, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you have your extract, right? Your
Yeah.
abstract. Oh, we
Yeah.
didn't know that, but you need it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And we'll talk more about it, like more
We go more
situation.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll go more into it and talk more about the difficulties that Mr. Shahzad faced. We were talking about the challenges that he faced after coming to Canada. So one of those were finding a right housing, and another one was the driver's license and getting the abstract and the experience from a country that you're coming from. And let's move on to the next one. What is the other one that you'd like to talk about?
Credit cards, your credit score.
Yeah.
Be very careful with that. Many of us don't know anything about it. For me, it was slightly easier because coming from the US and from North America, having lived there, we had an idea about it. But it's very important to
Yeah.
understand how that works. When you get here, make sure you speak to your bank to understand how credit scores work. Very important. They'll give you excellent tips and tricks on how much to spend on your credit card. Make sure you make your payments. Before getting a mortgage, don't buy a car. All these strange things because a car is a depreciating asset, right? And the
Yeah.
banks look at it differently.
Yeah.
Small things like this, which can make your life easier, right?
Yeah.
So try to, even before you come to Canada, connect with people in Canada. There are many, BMG does it, Immigrant Networks does it. You can actually reach out to these organizations, and they can set you up for success. I know BMG has opened BMG India to help people before they get on the plane. They already have all of this.
Yeah.
Reach out to these organizations. They are there to help you.
Right.
And once you're here, no matter what qualifications you have, get as many local qualifications you have.
Yeah.
There are, for the permanent residents who are coming in, there are multiple opportunities to get it at no cost to you.
Like, can you give you some
So,
examples?
for example, I got through Triac and Humber College, I got a micro credential in marketing,
Okay.
digital marketing. It was for free, cost me nothing. Sign up, show up.
Right.
Right? Sign up, show up, do your tests, get the grade, you get it. And you add that to your resume, you add that to your LinkedIn profile, and suddenly people feel, okay, this person is making an effort to understand
The culture
the culture and how the country works.
works. Yeah.
So I have a degree from the US. It's a North American degree, but they still appreciate the fact that you've come here and you are willing to learn how we do things. They
Right.
may not be very different. 90% is going to be exactly the same as what you've been doing,
Yeah.
right? But why not do it? For the international students, you're already studying. Take advantage of all the free services that the colleges have. For example, all the colleges have free services for you to improve your English, improve your accent.
Yeah.
Take them. They're free.
Yeah.
Just show up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's actually very true because when I was studying at Seneca, I was first at Seneca and then I joined Centennial, and they still send us emails about having to, about joining the course, and sometimes related to legal fields, sometimes related to marketing, and sometimes other fields that they have courses for, and we don't really take it seriously. We look at it as a hassle that we
Or
have
as an
to.
expense,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
but we don't really go into it and check that it's for free.
It's for free. And how is it going to help me? There is no course you will take that will not help you.
Yeah.
Let me put that in writing. There
Yeah.
is no webinar, and there's so many of them are for free all over the place, that
Yeah.
will not help you.
Yeah.
Even if it helps you 1%, it's 100% further than where you are today. Right? So it's
Definitely.
very, very simple.
Right. Yeah. So, and as we were talking about the kids that you see, like the international students, not just kids, like the international students you see, You
They're not
see,
kids.
yeah, they're
They're
not
all adults.
kids.
They're all adults.
Yeah, I mean, as an educator, you see all the students as your own kids. This is what my father says it because he's a principal as well in India.
He's way up. He's a dean, right? So,
Yeah, so he sees everybody as kids. So yeah, this is what he said. I think that is where it came from. But yeah, apart from that, like you mentioned that people don't like to go out of their circle. And do you also see groupism here in Canada
oh yeah,
between
yeah.
people?
So first, I treat my students as my peers.
Right,
I always start by, I'm teaching you, but I also want to learn from you
right.
because you're the next generation. You think
Yeah,
differently from me,
yeah.
which is okay, right? Yes, they do form groups. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
You jump back into your comfort zone,
yeah.
and then you came here to leave your comfort zone. Why are you looking for it again, right? Like in my class, I have kids coming in from Nigeria,
Yeah,
from India,
yeah.
from the Philippines, from Vietnam, from Colombia. Why not mixed with them? And ask them the question, right? How many of you have are friends with the Nigerians or the Colombians outside of class?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. I said, why not?
Nobody. Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Okay, there are a couple outliers. There'll always be a few outliers who make the effort.
Yeah.
But everyone should make the effort because guess what? When you start working somewhere, you're going to have colleagues from all over the world.
Yeah.
That's why you came to Canada. It's the melting
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So imagine you're already prepared and you understand how the Nigerians think and how the Colombians think and how the Vietnamese think. Right? You're going to learn so much.
Yeah.
And now, when I forced them to start communicating and put them in groups, I actually had a young Indian girl come and say, us Nigerians are so similar. I told her,
Yeah.
you know what? Us and every human is
It's
similar,
very similar.
right?
Yeah.
It's just that you don't know the similarities.
Yeah.
When you look for it, you will find them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We all have set values, but they all merge somewhere.
That's
And I
very
really
true.
encourage them to break away from these groups and mingle, mix, understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I even tell them, listen, walk up to when you pick up your coffee from Tim Hortons, talk to the person behind you. The person across the cashier has to talk to you,
Yes.
but the person behind you doesn't have to talk to you.
But you should make an effort
You
to
should
talk
make
to
an
them.
effort. Ask them, how many have you been to a basketball game? 6 months. I'm not saying spend $200. There are small basketball games you can go to for free. You can find them. Right?
Right.
Go. You learn so much about the Canadian culture, how
Yeah.
they react to a goal. You know how Indians react to when you hit a six in the cricket field, but do you know how a Canadian reacts when he dunks a basketball?
Yeah.
You know
That's a
what?
different experience.
It's a different experience,
Yeah.
but it's the same reaction. But because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, joy is joy, right?
Definitely,
Right?
100%. I remember this, like the things that you're talking about. I was trying those things when I was in college. I remember like Diwali party. That Diwali is the main event for
Yeah,
us,
of course.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm a big time person like for house parties. And I remember inviting all of my classmates, and we were about 30 to 35 in number, and only people from my own community showed up, and some of them not did not even show up. And I did try, but the other thing was like people do not want to come out of their comfort
So
zone,
you're saying
right?
that non-Indians didn't turn up.
Non-Indians as well as Indians sometimes
Right?
did not turn up
Sticking
there.
on the point of Diwali party, we threw
Yeah,
one last year,
yeah.
right? And we invited 50 people, and 60 turned up,
Wow.
right? So, and we had non-Indians turn up. We had people from the Middle East. We had John who came, right? I
Wow.
know John was on your show.
Yeah,
John, is has become a very close friend thanks to BMG.
yeah.
We decided to connect, and I think he told you that we
Yeah,
actually go out for dinner,
yeah,
as couples
yeah,
every once a month,
yeah,
and now we're going to go with what you suggested, right?
yeah.
So
Maharaja
it's
Bhog.
yeah, Maharaja Bhog. So you got free you got free
No,
advertising
he
from here.
came to the show as well.
So right, you still got free advertising on this
Yeah,
podcast. But yes, yes, people are skeptical of going.
yeah.
But now let me ask you this: before you threw Diwali party, did someone tell them what Diwali is about?
Yeah, that was
There
not
you go,
me.
right? So for them, what does it mean?
Yeah,
What do I have to do there?
yeah,
Right? So if you see the message Anju sent out, telling people to come for inviting people to come for the Diwali party, it was just come and share our joy. We want to share our joy with you.
Yeah.
It's the festival of lights. Come, enlighten our home. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's actually a very sweet message because sharing our joy, it sends out a very
So,
nice and strong
strong message
message.
that we want you to be part of our happiness.
Yeah.
Come and share it with us.
Yeah.
There's no mention of Diwali,
Yeah.
though it is called. We said it's a Diwali party, but that word disappeared in the message,
Yeah.
and people came there just to be people.
Yeah. For
We
joy.
actually had a Lebanese lady who came dressed in a sari, and she
Wow.
was the only non-Indian person wearing a sari. There was not another Indian woman wearing a sari. So
Wow.
she was the outlier
Yeah.
as a Lebanese wearing a
Yeah.
sari. So she became the center of attraction, which is beautiful. You saw how
Yeah.
joy spread.
Yeah, because it's very difficult to connect on the basis of what you have not experienced, but something that you bring together, something that everybody has experienced is joy. Everybody has experienced it and would
Yes,
love to be a part of it, right?
that's a
And they would
gendered
never
feeling.
reject it.
They'll never reject
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
So instead of Diwali party, come and
So it's
share,
a way
right?
to, yeah,
And that's how you build
a connection.
the
Yeah,
bridge, right?
yeah.
So everybody wants to experience joy, and guess what? Everybody will turn up,
Yeah,
right?
I will try this next time. Thank you so
Do
much
that.
for the advice. And I think a lot of us will stick to it and we'll talk more about his journey and his experiences. And we have had a lot of insights from Shahzad Gidwani, and he's been sharing about his journey and how we should, take an extra step and go a little beyond than what we can do or have done, because I was talking about my effort to invite people over the Diwali party and you were talking about, and we had a different experience. People, like, if I invited 35, maybe 20 showed up, and you invited 50 and 60 showed up. What's the difference? It's the difference how you portray your message and how you put it out in the world, that it's not just a Diwali party, it's the experience to share joy. And what are some of the other insights or experiences that you'd like to share that creates a difference in the life of immigrant in general after coming to Canada? And also, I would also like to ask in terms of finding a job as well. Like, what creates a difference here?
So what creates a difference here is actually, people call it soft skills. So my wife has changed the name. She calls them human skills,
Right.
and she humanizes it, right? So you need to have those human skills. Technically, everyone can prove themselves. I have a degree. Here's my success story. I generated so many ads. I did this. Where are your human skills? This is what is going to differentiate you, and this is what makes all the difference. Human skills is what is going to get you that job. Whether you're a newcomer or you're an international student, it is the human skills that will make you stand apart from everybody else. And this is what employers are looking for. In the first interview, and I'm sure many of you have had that first interview,
Yeah.
they don't ask you technical questions.
Yeah.
They
Just
ask
like to
you,
know you.
they like to know you. They are gauging whether, as a human being, you will fit into their organization. Once they feel that you will, then they ask you a couple of questions. Tell me, the hardest thing that you had to do with your team. They may give you a few instances,
Yeah.
but the human skills
Very
is
important.
very, very important. That will make you stand apart.
And you, someone having excellent human skills, where did
Thank you
it
very much.
where did you get it? Like, how did you start it? Because there's a point, like, some of us are extroverted, right? We don't care, like, we have anybody in front of us, we'll just talk and we'll just
Like you. Yeah.
we'll just leave an impression and people somewhat somewhere will remember us. But there are people who are introverts, right? Are ambiverts. Sometimes they, like, I don't want to use this word, they hang in between, right?
Nobody hangs. So
How do they come out of their shell?
there
Any
is no shell. I don't believe that they're in a shell. The fact that they left their countries and came here,
Yeah.
yeah, they're not in a shell.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have left. Let's be
Right.
very honest about it, right?
Right.
You're not, and you may be an ambivert and come here, but you cannot be an introvert and leave your
Everything
country,
behind.
everything behind.
Yeah.
So even if they tell you I'm an introvert, the fact that they told you that, they're not an introvert, right? So how do you get out of your shell? That's on you. Right? It is 100% on you, the person who has made a life-changing decision to leave home, regardless of where it is. You've made that decision.
Right.
You've done 80% of the journey.
Right.
You can't become an introvert in the last 20%.
Yeah.
Right? You're in
Yeah.
college, you're meeting people. Yes, you find it difficult to speak. I used to find it difficult to speak. Right? I have to thank the US education system, which got me to start talking more. I studied in Indiana at the University of Indianapolis. And I don't know if they'll see this podcast, but I owe them a lot. Right? It's not the education, it's but the experiences they gave me. Right?
Right.
Then I got to thank another company, Ericsson, multinational. They put me out there. They said, go and present. You
Right.
did it in college in front of 10 people. Now do it in front of 1,000.
Wow.
Right? Then it becomes natural. You have to step out of your comfort zone. Right? So, and I
Right.
kept doing it. I kept doing it. I have introduced Abhishek Bachchan to a crowd.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
have introduced Ashwarya Rai to a crowd, which was very difficult to do.
Yeah.
And I actually came and stood in front of her and I actually said, listen, if you want to see her, you got to first listen to me because otherwise I'm going to stand in front of her.
Yeah.
And suddenly people change their focus. Just for a second, you want them to listen to you just for a second so that you can actually introduce that person. It works. But
Yeah.
it's on you to make that decision to get out. And guess what? You've done 80% already. You
Yeah.
got here.
Yeah, definitely. And it brings me back to my college days. I was also a host and I would introduce stars all the time. And this is actually very true. Like you have to get an attention just for a minute
Yes.
for people to know that there's something coming on. But this is the skill actually to how to get it on you. I also started as someone who was, I'd say, introverted, then I changed to ambiverted, and now I'm extroverted. Like it started like literally just 7 years ago when I joined my college or university in India. And I pushed myself to a point where I was like, I cannot imagine my life where I do not have valuable people around and someone or people who actually give me insights to what I can do better
Yeah, but
with.
that's a two-way street, right? For you to
Yeah.
have valuable people, you have to be valuable to somebody.
Yeah.
And where does that come from? Volunteering. You went
Yeah.
full circle and came back to point number one,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
But that's the
100%.
beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
How do you create value? By volunteering.
Yeah.
When you're being paid for something, yes, you're creating value, but you're being paid for it, and everyone knows you're doing it for the money. But when you're volunteering, you're giving back for nothing.
Yeah.
That's
And
life taking full circle.
yeah, and also how you leave an impression on people because like you mentioned just now that you were talking about your COVID story when you came here as an immigrant after, in Canada to Canada for the first time and very warm words were mentioned to you.
Yeah.
Like would you like to describe us like how it made you feel and how a simple sentence can make a lot of difference in somebody's life even if you don't know them and how important it is to always carry this attitude in life.
So you going back to the story. We came in April 1, 2020.
Okay.
We drove from the airport was closed, so we drove in from the US at the Peace Bridge.
Yeah.
We came to the border.
Peak of COVID. Yeah.
April 1. They
Yeah.
closed the border one day before, right? Or 2 days ago. 2 days
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
No one behind us, no one ahead of us.
Yeah.
We're the only ones at immigration. They're in shock. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Takes our papers, we go through questioning, and he was really hard in the beginning. Now, he felt something is not right. Why are these people coming in a car?
All
Sorry, in a van,
in the
lock,
situation.
stock, and barrel in the middle of
Yeah.
COVID. What's wrong with these people?
Yeah.
Back and forth questioning. His last words, his demeanor changed from the hardcore immigration officer to now a true Canadian who is opening his home up for you. His words to us at the end were, "Welcome home."
Wow.
And you know what? No one's ever said that with so much conviction than this gentleman at the immigration counter. I do not know his name. And if he does see it, April 1, 2020, early in the morning, we were at the border and you made it for us. He made it for us.
Yeah.
He said, "Welcome home." And he said, "I'm going to put notes on the system to ensure that you have no problem getting your citizenship." And that
Wow.
worked. Right? We got our
Wow.
citizenship in record time, 4 months from date of application.
Oh my
Right?
God.
So whatever we put on that system, when
Yeah.
someone in IRCC read it, it
Yeah.
worked. So
Wow.
thank you, Canada. Canada made our dream come true.
Yeah.
No one can take that away. Not an easy country. I'm not saying it's a walk in the park.
Definitely.
No part of the world is a walk in the park. There are no countries which are going to be a walk in the park.
Wow.
Regardless of which part of the world you go to, there will be challenges.
Yeah.
But welcome home.
Changed everything.
changed everything.
Yeah.
And as I said,
Hmm.
I've traveled across.
Hmm.
I've never heard that statement from an immigration officer
Hmm.
to end a discussion. Yeah,
Definitely.
so thank you, Canada.
I mean, this is such a nice experience, definitely, because I remember being at the airports and on the borders and feeling all tense, like what question are they gonna ask? But it comes down to kindness at the end of the day, no
Yeah.
matter what
So he
profession you're
started hard,
in.
right? He started
Yeah,
hard,
yeah,
but it's always how it ends.
yeah. And before we end this podcast, I would like to just like you to like give us the small advice or something that you, if you go back in time, or would like to tell your younger version of 20 or 25-year-old that, oh, you should have done this or that, like before we end this, what would
Listen to
that
the woman
be?
in your life.
Listen to the woman in your life. Okay.
She's probably right, whether you like it or not.
All
Right?
right.
That's experience. It
Hmm.
took me 50 years to figure that out, but I did. So, to my younger self and to anyone who's younger out there,
Hmm.
that's
Listen.
my two bits of
Mhm.
advice. And network, network, network.
All right. Thank you.
It'll get you there.
Thank you so much for coming and joining. It was a pleasure having you. It was such like food for thought, a conversation with you, and I will definitely like to invite you again and talk
It'll
more
be a
and more
pleasure.
about it, because I know that you have a lot to share, and this was just a tip of an iceberg. But thank you so much for coming, and thank you for all the viewers for watching us. And I will be back with the same show, different guest, same timing. Keep watching the Canadian Name Just podcast.
Thank you.